Oh, look who's playing as France. It's been so long since I played France on Finland in a multiplayer, but man, picking up the old digs playing as France again. And this is a 3v3 on the Finland map. So, yeah, this is going to be pretty good. We got a nice little tactic we're going to use. Gunny is over here playing USA. He's going to be coming over. So, typically what players think is going to happen is this player on the bottom will come out and face you on the bottom. What we're going to do is Gunny is going to come up and we're going to, I know it's a lot of spinning of the camera, but we're going to attack in the center here, 2 versus 1, while this player, which I believe is Scuzza, is going to go straight over the hill, and I think he is, I can't remember who he's facing, but he's going to go straight over the hill into a solid attack. And then over here, you're going to see, this is going to put a big dilemma on the American player. Especially if he has spread his army out, which he has, over the whole portion of the battlefield. So now, Gunny has a massive advantage over this player, because as you can see, the majority of his army is uphill, making the remainder of his push uphill. And you can see he's going over this way. Now the one thing I don't like about what he did is he went this way. I think he should have been more at an angle, because he is losing a little bit of time and energy that way. But you can see our Dutch ally is going to be making a strong push to immediately get up the hill to face the American player, who is strong, going to be coming out with a fast and strong opposition. And what we're going to do to cause more confusion here in a little bit is Gunny is going to flip over the top of me, and he is actually going to be the center player, and I'm going to roll to the flank. So while we're waiting to do that, I am actually going to hold the center. This is going to help cause the confusion. As you can see, this is the American player. He's still kind of trying to figure out how they're going to attack this. So it's a little bit of a delay there is helping us. Every second that he delays is a help, because now he's got to bring half of his army further uphill, and you can see the incline. It's harder to run your men uphill than it is any other direction. Alright, so now he is making his push. So I guess what he was trying to do was stay in the open ground as he pushed up. So now he is pushing over this way, and you can see that this action is about to take place. So the Dutch player has a tactic where he pushes this militia in, and then he runs it across, and it takes a lot of the first volleys from these units here, and it also puts them right in front of these guys, so his Holland guards could just start ripping through these guys. And you're going to see it's going to have massive effect. So you see how he's using his his militia. And then over here he's got his Scots on the flank. He's going to be taking on 3 versus 2 Scots. So that's an obvious advantage for the Scots. And you can see these Holland guards just opening up with massive amounts of firepower here. And you can see it's obviously causing massive amounts of damage. We've got a U.S. Marine unit here that's still shooting on this Marine point blank. Marine is still shooting on the militia point blank rather than shooting on the Holland guard. And he's also captured this flank. And he is about to be flanked here, but here I come with some of my best units. I got my rifle. So he's about to get 2v1 here, the American player. The other American player is starting to try to push to help, but I've screened it off with these line infantry, so he's not going to be able to help. So you can see there's some grenade action going off. The American player throwing grenades, and I'm not sure if he's getting any great hits in there, but he's not throwing at the moment. He needs to throw those grenades as fast as possible. Alright, so here comes, I've got my infantry VU, and I've got, I believe, a grenadier and a Swiss guard coming up. Yep, here comes my grenadier. Now my guys are very tired because I had to chomp up through the whole back of the map, but you can see my tier lures now starting to open up into the Minutemen on the flank. And with my units taking the this flank with the addition of all these Dutch players, army, it's going to be just more than he can handle. Alright, one other thing I do is, since he's throwing grenades, I actually, it's kind of hard to show, but I threw one of my extra generals in here to hit the, there you can see the flag now. I threw it into the grenadier so he could stop throwing and give him some time versus that grenadier. And you see I'm just going to start rolling back my lines. This is just meant to screen me off from starting to get this volleys on these Minutemen. This is going to really start taking effect here in a little bit. So we got one down to 98, one to 117. But just having my men here means he has to spread over his army. So he's only got a portion of his army facing the Dutch player. Now let's take a look at the flank. You can see the American player is now starting to make a push to our flank, but still he has not come in force, so I don't even have to move to meet him yet. And here comes Gunny's army. So I'm about to relinquish this flank to him shortly. You can see what I did is I'm screening off the American force with my rifles and with these lines. So I am taking pretty heavy damage just screening them off like this. But now I've got my Swiss and my infantry VU going over here. I am getting grenades thrown on me. Oh no, that's me throwing grenades. And I think I'm going to clock him over the head with these grenades and just roll this flank. Yeah. He's got to move or else he's going to get bombed. He's already lost over half his army. And here comes Gunny. And then I'm just going to roll and handle the flank now. And this guy's probably licking his chops. He probably thinks he's just going to eat us up over here on the flank. But you can see the American army is already toast. And here comes, he's going to have a nice little charge over here on the long rifles. Ah, he gets the stakes up just in time. Look at that. That was a great move. He doesn't do enough damage though. He's only got 10 of them killed off so far. Probably been better suited just to keep shooting, but at least it was a good try. Alright. So you can see the, you know, he hasn't come out of this without any damage. Lost one Holland Guard a little bit, not too bad. Alright. So now with Gunny's men up here, I am going to go ahead and start moving back. Man, they got a great shot on my grenadier there. But I'll be able to start relinquishing this. Man, you can see my guys have just annihilated this guard here. My Swiss and my infantry VU. Man, he just took a beating there. Alright, so here they come. They're coming on the flank. Here comes the Marines. I've got a lot to handle here. They got a whole army. I've only got 2 lines facing them. And now I've rolled my Tierler that was all the way over here. I've rolled him over to handle their long rifles and the rest of their units. And I'm opening up on the Marines. I only got 1. Or no, I missed to hit this one. And you see the long rifle is shooting into my Bulkley, which is not good for me. But now it's time to start rolling my guys. That you can see Gunny is going to start hitting this portion of the American army. He's focusing all of his firepower in here. And then the Dutch player is going to be able to just continually pound. There's not much left over here to hold back his army. The center player has moved his rifle over to Morgan to handle that. So here comes the American Cav. I'm going to counter charge them, as I believe he was going for my rifles, and I was not having any of that. So I went ahead and counter charged him. And just because I got so much going on, I actually had a order in for these guys to move up, so we can just keep hitting these guys. So I got a little bit of a 3v1 going here, so I wanted to get that going. But I need to start rolling the rest of my army. But I've got to hold the center too. You can see I've got these guys stacked up. Now my rifles are able to start shooting into the Cav. But you can see he's coming up on the flank. I did roll one of the Bulkleys to shoot them down as well. So I'm getting a little bit of help from my Cav, from my Tierlers, and from this Bulkley. And I have almost defeated one of these Marines, but I've got to start rolling back. The center is starting to become a problem. So Gunny has moved a guard over, which is going to help a lot. But he does have a guard, a Minutemen, and a Maryland versus that one guard. So that's a weak point there. As I roll my units now, you can see I'm bringing the rest of my army over. All I have to do is retreat uphill. But I get a little bit aggressive. As you see, I did beat back the Cav. And I did get a Grenadier throw on me, and I lost this Bulkley, which was very unfortunate. But it did delay his army from pushing up a little bit faster than he probably wanted to. So I'm willing to take that. This long rifle is definitely giving me problems, as well as that Marine. So I'm setting up my next line of defense. So he'll have to keep pulling into this, and then they're going to set up, be able to reload while these guys are firing off on them. And my Tyrlers are just going to handle this flank. I got one Bulkley handed into the woods to handle these Minutemen coming up. Should be more than enough. And then I am rolling my guard units, which are my infantry Vu and my Swiss, over here to the flank to assist. Got my general over here now. Gunny left his grenadiers, but you can see now the American player that was in the center is spread. He had to spread half his army up here to the flank to handle the Dutch player, and he's only got a small portion of his army to face Gunny here in the center. So we got a clear advantage on the top portion of the battlefield. All I need to do is slow this guy down for my allies. And you can see here my two lines that were up have rolled, and that did allow my lines here to reload. So as they come up, they will be rolling right into a volley. As you can see, that is taking place now. So they're just continually rolling into volleys, and this is a strategy I definitely suggest you use. You can see these guys are in the process of reloading while these guys are taking on the fight. You can see here I did roll my two Cav units down here. This is merely, the only reason I did this was to pull units away from this push. That's the only reason I did it, and it worked 100%. Alright, so here come my two guard units. You can see I am spreading. We had a corner going here, and we rolled back to make a straight line. You never want to have corners. So now you can see we have a corner right here where this ledge is. That's how you want to do it. You always want to anchor off on one of those edges, because a corner is vulnerable to being doubled up on it by one unit. But you can see here Gunny keeps shifting, and it's causing me a little bit of damage and him a little bit too much damage as well. But we're doing okay. Alright, so you can see my Cav is very mobile. I haven't taken one shot, and I'm pulling one line infantry out of this fight. That's all I'm meaning to do with that unit. He still has one light dragoon that did come back. I wasn't able to finish him off. You see here, I am making pretty good progress against him in the center. It's only got two Minutemen in this fight right here. See, my rifle is just barely getting some shots, peeking over the top of that hill. Not really great. So not really a good position for my rifle. But over here you can see that Gunny is way overpowered on this part here. He should be pushing that to take them out. He's got one Marine helping finish off this flank up here. You can see that this portion of his army is about gone. Now, yeah, this is an intense battle. Very intense. Look at all these, oh, the death and mayhem in here. That's a pretty good shot too. Loving it, guys, loving it. See those guards for the USA just going to town. Now over here you can see I did break this unit that was over here. Minutemen is still hanging in there with 76 men, but they are a low morale unit. So I'm going to attempt to break them. I'm getting a downhill charge. So that's going to give me a little bit of edge, and I got a full unit. So I should be able to bust through him and put them Minutemen to bed. Yeah, give him the bayonet, boys. Blap! Alright, now I should be pushing through him. Just pushing through him into that Marine. You can see that Minuteman is about ready to give up the fight. Alright, so Gunny is rolling, but this is an unfortunate move. You see what he's doing? He's rolling right into the line of fire. So this is something you got to avoid. And you see I did move one of my Bulkleys into this Minutemen here. I should be able to break him even though I'm outnumbered. That Bulkley is too strong of a unit. Now I did get tagged into this Minutemen a little bit too much, so I didn't get into the Marine as much as I needed to. So he's still able to shoot. I need to get into him to melee him so I can stop him from shooting here. Now, one thing I neglected to show you is the fight that happened over here. So my Cav and I've got a Bulkley now over here just trying to knock down these units. I did kill off that last Light Dragoon and I killed off his General Bodyguard, and now, yeah, there goes one of his other lines. So my Bulkleys that were in the woods did come out of the woods downhill onto these guys, and yeah, that helped out quite a bit, keeping my Cav alive. But you can see the rest of my units in here did not fare well. My Swiss and my infantry Vu, he just had too much firepower in here with these Grenadiers and Marines that he was able to break them. So I do have this one line infantry which is about to break, and I've got my line that was doing the melee, and this other one, it's 37 and 28, that one breaks. So I've got a little bit of problem here, but now that push I did, this line, the Bulkley did break, but I was able to disrupt a lot in here. So Gunny has completely cleaned this up. So his army should be able to come over and help shortly. And I have captured this flank here. As you can see, I've got my Bulkley in here, and I'm just going to give him a little bit of help from this Cav. I'm going to hit him so he can't shoot, and then I'm going to push directly through. You can see my guys are already pushing through. I'm just trying delaying actions right now. Yeah, this is pretty intense. I did get grenaded here, so the American player doing a really good job with the grenade throws, but he does slow it down there. But it doesn't matter. He did beat him. I need help from Gunny here, and he is still pushing the small portion of this American army. So you can see I'm just commencing these Cav charges. I did break the line down here. Bulkleys just are beastly good. And over here, you can see the remainder of my units here are in a scruff with these Grenadiers and Marines. So I've got two of my General's bodyguards, as I did bring three, and I got my Tyrler shooting them down. So I'm just going to push through with the Generals. It's just a little bit of a stopping action, and I'm just going to keep Cav charging. You see my other Cav is hitting them here, so I'm just bouncing from my Cav from unit to unit, so he can't move them. You see some guys kind of flinging in the background there. You see I'm almost broke them. These downhill charges are just hurting them bad. I did lose my Carabiner, but you see I'm just going to sandwich these guys. Sandwich! Some sandwich action. How do you like your sandwich today, sir? That's right. Eat that biatch. Alright. So, he is very depleted now. For him to push uphill on my Tyrlers means that he is continually moving away from his remainder of his ally here. This is all he's got left. And the Dutch player is fighting off just 3 units here of his army on that wing, so they're pretty much toast as well. Yeah. And over here you can see the Tyrler versus the Marine. Should be no competition. This Grenadier still sitting over here, set out the battle pretty much. Now, my Bulkley is facing off this Grenadier, and wow, he got a great throw on me, but my General did get a nice back charge on him. It is going to allow me to back up, and that should be that. Yeah, I'm just continually hitting these guys, my Generals. Just bouncing from unit to unit. They're not going to like these charge bonuses on them. And see, I'm just reforming because he is throwing a grenade volley, so I moved out so he throws them on the ground. Blap! Eat that. Now I'm going to give him a nice Bulkley charge. I am tired, but it'll all be good. Bulkleys are where it's at, baby. Give it to him, Bulkleys. Give it to him. We also have one General left, but he is about to break. So I got my Tyrler, my Bulkley, and I think that's all I got left. But you can see now Gunny has finally started to come over to help. Yeah. That Marine is toast. So I did my part again at the beginning of this battle. Golly, look at all these bodies over here. My job was to push up, be a screening force, so the American ally here in the center could not help versus the Dutch player. And I even was able to get over here and help on this flank over on the slope of the hill with my elite units. As you can see, one Marine did make it up here. Looks like he's got his long rifle. And the Dutch cav is now coming in to help, but this is pretty much over with. There's just 2 small grenadier units, and I think I'm going to beat them with the Bulkleys. The Tierlers are shooting him down. Yeah, he's about to break. They're all breaking over here too. Yeah. So pretty epic. So yeah. So once again, I held the center. Gunny came up, took the center, and I rolled to the flank to keep this player from pushing into us. On the flank, yeah, it worked out just absolutely smooth. I do lose my Bulkley here, but the American cannot withstand that one more cav charge. So I ended up the game with only having a Tierler left. But that's it, guys. What a battle. What a battle. This is a great tactic. It adds confusion to our opponents. You can see I ended up with 1,745 kills. Gunny 830. Scuzza with 1574. Galula with 1317. Ego was the player on the flank with 1006, and Pillman on the hill with 903. So yeah, we put him at a really tough position. Galula played absolutely amazingly in this one, as well as Ego and Pillman as well. We put Pillman in a really hard position. He took on 2v1. They all took on 2v1s at different points in the battle. Because of this strategy. So we use superior numbers to outman them and really give them an impossible odd to win the battle. So at no point did we fight equal terms. We fought on superior terms in every portion of the battlefield. So it's all about strategy. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button, and also don't forget to subscribe. It does help the channel. We're trying to reach that 1,000 subscribers mark. So please go ahead and hit that subscribe so we can hit that as soon as possible. Thank you once again, guys. We will see you on the next one. Oh, we didn't look at the unit statistics. Let's look at that. So my main general had 16 kills. My Tierlers had 166. Carabiners 54 and 76. And then my other extra general guard had 10. My other general bodyguard had 3 kills, but this is kind of incorrect. I definitely had more than 3. Then if not, even if they only got 3, the disruption that they gave was absolutely vital. This Bulkley only got 27. That's the one that got grenadiered. My other Bulkleys 139, 130, and 253. My infantry review 144, my Swiss Guard 92, my line 77, this one's 66, and I've scrolled 68, 194, 102, 64, and my Grenadiers 126. So yeah, a lot of fun. I hope you guys did enjoy. We will see you on the next episode.